Greetings, ninth graders, the class of 2019. This is Barb Nelson, the ninth grade counselor, and I just want to give you a brief overview of the process of registration that is coming up next week. Just giving you some important dates. On February 8th, today, registration materials will be given out in your English classes. Next week, on February 16th, we will be having a parent information night for the students that are currently in 9th grade going to 10th grade in the senior high cafeteria at 5 p.m. Following this, a video will be posted of the evening session for parents who cannot attend, so certainly let your parents know students are free to attend, but we'll be covering the same information in your English classes next week. We're doing the process a little bit different, that we're giving everything out to you this week in hopes that you can take some time to look it over. And then next week, February 17th through the 19th, on one of those days, you will come from your assigned English class to the computer lab where we'll give you some more information and you'll be able to register directly in PowerSchool. There are a couple handouts that you have. One is a buff sheet that has the class of 2016 graduation requirements. Certainly take a look at those. You've hopefully heard about that or been presented before, that there's 46 semester credits that are required in the areas that are listed there. Take note, if you haven't had a fine arts class, that's something you want to try to fit in the next 3 years. On the flip side of that is the possible math pathways. And for you guys as freshmen this year, there was a little bit of a change, and so everybody took geometry or the supported geometry or a class that was more advanced than that. So from the possible math pathways, you can see that there's different areas you can go. So my suggestion to you is to talk to your current math teacher if you are questioning. For students that are struggling in geometry and maybe historically struggled in the algebra courses at the middle school, there is a 2-year sequence, the Advanced Algebra A and then B separately over 2 years, or there's a 1-year course, the Advanced Algebra A and B, that you can plan to take. But definitely get the advice of your current math teacher if you are questioning that. The official registration sheet is a green 2-sided sheet that looks like this. In each of the different areas, English, Social Studies, Science, and Math on the front, you should be selecting a full year course. There are some foundation classes that are listed there on the bottom that are part of what has been our academy structure. You can look at descriptions of those, and I'll tell you where in just a minute. On the back side, there are all the different electives listed, so things in the art tech area, world language, science, Phi-Ed, music, and so forth, and those are your choice. So you just have to have a total of 12 to 14 boxes checked, including from the front side. If you do plan to take a regular study hall, you don't need to add that in. You might end up with 12 or 13 choices. So what would be helpful is to have this sheet filled out when you come into the assigned computer lab day next week. So you spend some time talking about it with parents or guardians, make some decisions about what you're interested in taking. And similar to our message in 8th grade, as you're a 9th grader here now and have heard about or know about other classes, you really need to think about what are classes that you're interested in taking, not necessarily what your friends are taking. So make sure that you're looking at the different elective options and the descriptions and finding out about different courses. A note about world language, that's another area if you're questioning, just to double check with teachers, but generally you just progress from year to year in the various levels. And then with music, if you are someone who's auditioning for one of the higher level music classes, you sign up for the, if you're in 9th grade band, and I'm sure Mr. Schmitz went over this, symphonic band, and same with orchestra. If you want to apply for the wind ensemble, you just have to put orchestra first. The Program of Studies guide is our course guide, registration guide, and you can find it on the senior high website. If you click on student resources and registration information, you will get to the place where it shows course descriptions. And there is, oh sorry, I have the wrong screenshot here, but there's the 2016-17 course book that is now listed on the website. So you'll be able to click on that and it shows you in alphabetical order by department all the different course titles, grade levels it's open to, and a description of that particular course. There are also copies available that your teacher has of this registration worksheet. It's a really good idea now that you've completed 9th grade to kind of be thinking about a 3-year plan, looking at 10th, 11th, and 12th. I'm more than happy to sit down with you and do this if you're interested, but it just won't happen probably in the next week or two. It just maybe after you register, and if we do need to make some slight tweaks to your registration, we certainly can do that. On the back side of this sheet, I actually have filled in kind of some different pathways in the course areas. And so it's a place to kind of be able to look for a guide if I'm interested in, honors courses or some AP or IB, where those areas are. I know each of the teacher areas are going to be kind of talking about that, and Jenny Magdal, who's our IB coordinator, may be stopping in to talk a little bit more about IB. So this is just a helpful tool in kind of looking at what are some of the potential different pathways. There is the math pathways sheet, and there also is a science pathways form on the website that you'll see in the forms area. A couple of different things about the college prep options. We have both international baccalaureate courses that technically are 11th and 12th grade, but there is one course, IB Chemistry, that starts as a 10th grader. They're 11th and 12th grade, but this one starts in 10th grade. And then advanced placement, both of these programs are college rigor, just differences in terms of how they approach the curriculum. The advanced placement classes, a lot of them are in the social studies area, for example. So next year students can select between AP World History and AP European History. So again, something to consider if you want to challenge yourself and take a higher level of academics. One thing just to mention as well is there is a program called Post-Secondary Education Options, PSEO. It's really taking college courses at a local university or community college. Examples of this are Normandale, MCTC, U of M, Bethel, St. Thomas. It's available in grades 10, 11, 12, and students, you can earn high school credit as well as college credits. In 10th grade, however, it's more exploratory in nature, and there's limited classes that you can actually take. It opens up a little bit more in 11th and 12th grade. The thing with PSEO is you do need to provide your own transportation, so that is sometimes difficult for students as 10th graders if they don't have their license. And there are GPA requirements when you get into those upper grade levels, and possibly some testing requirements. If you're interested in this at all, you can certainly let me know. We will have some informational sessions in early March, and so you just need to kind of watch for signs or listen for announcements to find out when those times will be. And just a note, when you're thinking about registration, as I mentioned, kind of that making that 3-year plan, it's nice to think about what you want to take in 10th grade, but also in 11th and 12th grade as well. So consider making a 3-year plan and thinking about some life school balance. And so, wanting to take some courses to challenge yourself, but not necessarily overwhelm yourself. From some of our upper grade level counselors, they have said that colleges will say, take the most challenging courses that you can be successful in. So for some of you, that may not mean taking all the AP or IB courses, maybe just 1 or 2. Maybe just 1 if you're in regular classes now and wanting to step up to that challenge. So for whatever it is for you, think about kind of maintaining that balance and leaving some extracurricular activity time for areas that you enjoy doing, whether you have a job outside of school or involved in sports or religious activities, and making time for family and homework as well. So that's just something to consider when looking at class options. If you do have questions about registration, I am actually going to be down in the cafeteria. I thought that was the easiest, so I'm accessible for all students Wednesday, February 10th and Thursday, February 11th. I'll be around both of those days, so you can kind of just look for me, and I'll try to have some resources down there, and you can ask any questions, or if you have a couple of you that might have similar questions, come on up and we can chat about that. Another good way to contact me if you just have a quick question about something is through email. That's easy for me to respond, or by phone. So my direct number is listed there. So right now, again, we're just going through registration process for 10th grade. It's at about this same time every single year. So right now you're making choices for 10th grade, but it is helpful, like I said, to keep in mind what those choices are for the